the presentation.
So, hello everyone. Welcome once again to another informative session. We have Stephanie Tierney, a volunteer recruitment strategist at CHSR 97.9 FM, who is in our midst today. She is here to enlighten us on the topic volunteering in community radio. My name is Kobe, your host. We have interpreters online. We've got Spanish, Chinese, and Arabic, and also in person, we've got Dari, Pashto, Swahili, Ukrainian, and Tigranian. I would like to remind everyone that questions can be tested in the chat box, and Stephanie will answer them at the end of the session. Thank you once again for your time, Stephanie. Here are your audience. The floor is yours.
Thank you for that introduction. I'd like to welcome everyone to our presentation this morning. Oh, I'm hearing some audio.
Hi, it is me. I'm interpreting for Somali.
Okay, we'll get Jean to resolve that issue. Can we just hold on a sec? Sorry for the technical hitch. I think that has been resolved. So, Stephanie, the floor is yours.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to our presentation this morning. I'm Stephanie Tierney, as was mentioned, and I'm the Volunteer Recruitment Liaison at CHSR-FM. And somewhere in the audience is my coworker, Erin Bond, and she is the Programming Director at CHSR-FM. It is a pleasure to share this information session with you as a community and as potential volunteers at CHSR-FM. The first slide I'm going to share with you is an overview of the topics we'll be covering today. If you have any questions as we go along, please write them down and we can answer them in our question and answer period at the end of this presentation. If you need any clarification on anything, please ask as well as we go along. If you notice I'm talking slower and taking breaks, that's just for the interpreters. So today I'm going to talk to you about CHSR-FM and what we are all about. I'll tell you a bit about the difference between our station and other radio stations, specifically the difference between community radio and commercial radio. I'm going to give you a bit of background about our radio station as well as what types of programs our station broadcasts. We will then talk a bit about the types of opportunities at CHSR-FM and how you can get involved. And as I mentioned, we will have a question and answer period at the very end. So to get us started, CHSR-FM began as a student club in 1961, making us among the oldest campus community radio stations in Canada. We broadcast on the radio at 97.9 FM in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Our stations are located at the Student Union Building at the UMB campus. Our radio station streams online at CHSR-FM, and we started to broadcast podcasts in 2006. Generally, the station is managed by 2 full-time staff members, although we do occasionally have grant positions working with the station as well. And that's what I'm doing, as a grant worker. Before I go any further, I'm going to talk a bit about the difference between commercial radio and community radio. Some of you may have listened to the radio in your car or at home and heard popular music artists accompanied by lots of commercials. This is called commercial radio. CHSR-FM is a community radio station. Community radio stations offer listeners an alternative to commercial radio, in that we have many volunteers creating radio programs with many types of music that you wouldn't hear on commercial radio. We generally do not play advertisements either. Community radio, loosely defined, is a group of community and university students who produce their own radio programs and collectively, along with staff, operate a radio station. It is a space for people to meet and collaborate, and creativity is highly encouraged. In comparison to community radio, excuse me, commercial radio is often less personal and focuses its energy on playing commercials along with the most popular and current pop music. Sometimes the voices you hear are syndicated from bigger cities and lack the personal touch that community radio stations can offer. In contrast, community radio focuses its energy on playing independent musicians and artists, and again, encourages creativity and individuality. You might think that radio stations just play music, but that's not the whole picture. On community radio, we have talk shows, interview shows, audio documentaries, and more. When it comes to our music programming, we play many styles of music that are not heard anywhere else. We highlight local events and news and play music by local artists from Fredericton and the Maritimes. We offer some programming created by other community radio stations as well. We have some volunteers who have been with us for many, many years. And we also have new volunteers starting new radio programs throughout the year. We encourage newcomers to speak whatever language they feel comfortable using, as well as highlighting music that is special to them. If you decide that you are interested in joining the CHSR-FM team as a volunteer, we will ensure that you are trained in the area you are interested in. Everyone who decides to join will go through basic training session, which lasts about 60 minutes or 1 hour. After that, we will offer you more specific training in whichever area you choose to participate in. We offer an open and inclusive environment where we hope everyone will feel comfortable. Our facilities are currently not fully accessible yet. That is, we're not wheelchair accessible. But if you would still like to produce a radio show, we do have remote opportunities for those requiring that service. The main activity that volunteers typically participate in is creating and hosting a radio show. This can be weekly, bi-weekly, or a series of programs. It can be a music program, an interview, or spoken word program, or whatever your imagination can think of. Other activities that you can do around the radio station can be volunteering in our music library, assisting with events, and more. So how to get involved? The first step in getting involved with CHSR-FM is to fill out a volunteer application form. We have paper copies available at our office, or you can submit your application online at chsrfm.ca/join us. And that's on the screen right now, if you wanted to write it down. After that, we will have a conversation with you about what you would like to do at the station, plus offer you basic and specific training sessions, as I mentioned earlier. We will support you as a volunteer to ensure your happiness and to make sure you are confident and comfortable in your journey at CHSR-FM. Thank you for listening to our session this morning. If anyone has any questions, I would be happy to take some of them from you now. And while we're doing that, I'm going to move this slide up one, and that is all of our contact information. So if you don't feel comfortable asking questions here, you can send an email to our email address. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I'm sure you've got all kinds of questions for me. You can also, I believe you can also put your questions in the chat as well.
Yeah.
The social media links are there: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're also, I think we have a few videos on YouTube, and all of those you can find at CHSR 97.9. If you want more information, just general information, you can also visit our website, which is chsrfm.ca. And there, like I said, there's information on there. You can also apply to be a volunteer on there as well. And if you'd like to visit us at our office, you can come by. We're usually there during regular business hours.
Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Yes.
We're waiting for questions from our audience. We hope
Okay.
that. Thank you.
Don't be shy.
Okay. Okay. Whilst we wait for the audience to put their questions in the chat box, I have a question personally.
Sure.
I would like to know. I think we can all understand that New Brunswick, Fredericton is a very multicultural and has multicultural and religious diversity. And I would like to know that do your radio station accommodate or allow religious or cultural radio shows?
Do we allow cultural radio shows?
Yeah, or religious radio shows. Yeah.
Religious radio shows.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. We are definitely very excited to have cultural programming. I had previously worked at the radio station in St. John with the Multicultural Association there. And we, through my outreach, we ended up having programs in Mongolian, in Ukrainian, in Brazil. We had lots of different cultures doing programming. I would say probably the religious aspect of it, we could definitely discuss. I think it would be something where it could definitely be part of a program. But yeah, it would have to be kind of like religion and politics are kind of like, sometimes they can be tricky, but we would definitely be open to having that as part of our programming for sure. The one thing I will say when I do talk to newcomers about doing radio, a lot of times newcomers think that they have to play top 40 music and they have to be a certain way. And with the beauty of community radio is that you can come and play music that's important to you, music that's from where, the country that you come from or part of your culture. And you can speak in your own language. Of course, you can speak in English as well, or a combination of both. But the general feeling when I talk to people about that is they get very excited that they can come and speak. And, I remember a young woman that was from Mongolia and she thought she had to play very popular music and things like that. And when I told her that, you could come and speak in Mongolian and play music from where you come from and the music that's important to you, she was very excited. So I love that when that happens, because I think maybe people don't understand that it's very open and free and a creative space. So that's a very long answer to your question, but yes.
Yeah, I think that had answered it all, because my next question was going to be, are we restricted, are people restricted to like English language? And you've just answered it, and I think our audience will be happy to hear that because of language barrier and things like that. So yeah, it's great that you've answered it in a very broad way. Yeah. We've got some questions also in the chat box. I don't know if you can see from there.
I just might add one more thing, and that is the other thing about doing volunteering at the radio station is if you decide to do a radio program, it's also an excellent way to practice your English skills if that's something that you want to improve, along with like time management, script writing. You can learn a lot of skills that are actually transferable to, other types of things, including the jobs. Yes, I see the chats. I will go here and open those up. So let's see what we got here. what does CHSR stand for? I'd have to let Aaron take that question. Aaron, if you're there. Campus, I don't remember. The other thing to put in perspective is I've only been at CHSR for about 2 months. My coworker Aaron has been there for about 10 years. So I'm not sure on that. So
Can you hear me?
yes, we can, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin from CHSR, and CHSR actually stood for College Hill Student Radio because we're based on the UMB campus.
Okay.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. So that I hope that answered your question, Sue. Daniel, nice to meet you. Your question is, what's the length of the shows you can broadcast with volunteers, and what's the schedule of broadcasting? Sorry, I lost my place here. The length of the shows can be really a variety of things. So the traditional length is 30 minutes or 60 minutes. More rare would be a 2-hour program, but generally about 30 minutes or 60 minutes. We're also working on creating spaces for people to do like shorter segments, because we do have some opportunities. So say you wanted to interview somebody in the community and your interview was only 10 or 15 minutes long. We can potentially work that into other shows on our airwaves. We do have a show every day at lunch called The Lunchbox, which is hosted by our station manager, Mark. And he's always looking for those little segments that he can drop into his program. So, but generally speaking, Daniel, I would say 30 minutes or 60 minutes is the average length of a program. Kenza Pelche, thank you for your question, and you're welcome for this presentation. Your daughter is 18 and graduating from high school. That's awesome. Can she apply to be a volunteer? Yes, absolutely. The other amazing thing about community radio is that we have volunteers that range all the way from teenagers all the way up to people in their 70s and higher. So there's a wide, I'm hoping everybody kind of gets the picture that community radio and CHSR is a very big place for lots of different voices to be heard and for lots of different people to get involved. And we're trying to kind of rebound from the pandemic because, as you know, a lot of businesses suffered during the pandemic, and radio, community radio especially, was one of those areas where, you know, we had to shut down during the pandemic and we just had a lot of remote programming. And God bless Aaron for keeping the radio station going all that time. But yeah, in answer to your question, we would love to have the youth come and do programming all the way up to seniors. We're a very open space for everybody to get involved. So thank you for that question, Kenza. Sue Oborn, if you volunteer, can you stay and get a paying job? I definitely cannot guarantee that. You can volunteer and you can learn skills that might help you get a job. Myself, I'm on a 1-year contract with the radio station. So there are, from time to time, there are positions that do come open, but that's not all the time. So I could not say for sure that, you know, you would get a job at the radio station, but like I said, you may learn skills like time management, writing, speaking, all of these things that can be transferred to other jobs. And we've had volunteers at CHSR that have gone on to work at CBC and other big organizations. So it's definitely a place where we hope people will learn some skills and maybe be able to transfer those to other things. But I could not guarantee that you would, if you stayed on, you would get a paying job. But like I said, we do from time to time get contract positions. I hope that answered your question. Zongdong Zhao, I hope I pronounced that correctly. What kind of audiences do we have now? It's a bit technical. There is a way to find out who is listening, but it costs thousands of dollars to do that survey. And because we're a nonprofit, we don't have the kind of money to do those surveys. So that's kind of a tricky question to answer. We definitely have lots of followers and lots of people who support the radio station. And like I said, those can be all types of people, students, all the way up to community members, ranging, like I said, from high school age all the way up to seniors. So I would say we have a pretty broad range of listeners. I would also say that our listeners are typically people who want an alternative to commercial radio. That is, they want to hear different types of music. They want to hear different voices. They want to hear different cultural aspects. They just want to hear something different. So our audience is maybe a little different than the types of audience that would listen to, you know, top 40 radio, like the radio that plays the popular artists. I want to name popular artists, but I'm gonna disdain from that. But yeah, we offer an alternative. So we have, like, for instance, we have a bluegrass show that's hosted by a senior member of our community. And bluegrass is a very specific style of music, but that program has dedicated listeners every week. And if that program is not on, they call us at the radio station and they get very upset because that show is not on. So the people that do listen to our show are very passionate about music and culture, and I would leave it at that, but I can't give you specific statistics, but I hope that answers your question. Daniel V, could it be a group volunteering or for a single show? Yes, absolutely, Daniel. We definitely have had programs that have been hosted by one person and hosted by several people. So if the other thing is a lot of people, sometimes they're very nervous about being on the radio. They've never done it before. And it can, yeah, I understand it can be a little maybe scary or a little intimidating. So to have a group show is actually a really cool way for you to share the responsibility and also share the, you know, the on-air talking and things like that. So yeah, we would definitely be open to a group of people doing a show. The only thing with that is we would have to have probably one person that would kind of more or less lead the group and make sure that the program happens every week. Because you do run into a problem where if there's a lot of people, maybe everybody thinks the other person's going to do it and then nobody shows up, and that's not good. So but yeah, definitely, Daniel, that is definitely a possibility. Kenza is saying great. Sylvia Moreno, maybe a volunteer could do a survey to determine types of audiences. I mean, certainly that's, if somebody's good at that and they know how to do it, that's not my specialty. My specialty is volunteers, but it's definitely, I suppose, if you wanted, you could maybe do like a on the street survey or something like that, or maybe a survey online or something. But Daniel, thank you for keeping this opportunity in mind. And like I said, to anybody who is interested, I hope you can all still see the contact information on your screen. You can email their recruiting@chsr-fm.ca. If you have other questions, or maybe later today you think of something and you want to ask us, you can do it that way. And like I said, you can apply on our website, CHSR-FM.ca, and it's /join us. If you type that in, that'll take you right to the application form. But you can just go to the website, you'll find it if you're interested. Are there any other questions? Thank you to everybody who asked me a question. That's amazing. I've done these things before and not had any questions, so that's wonderful. And the enthusiasm is wonderful. Well, we might give it just another minute and see if anybody else wants to ask a question.
Yeah.
Aaron, I assume you're still there. I can still see your lovely face on the screen. Is there anything else you wanted to add quickly onto the end of this presentation that maybe you feel I overlooked?
I don't think so. I think you covered everything. Great job.
Thank you.
But yeah, we'd be very excited to have fresh faces, more diverse programming through language programming. We'll definitely give you all the training that's necessary and support you any way that we can.
Great.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, there's a couple more questions coming in here, so let's just see here. Just a general question to know more about the radio station. How many shows do you have at the moment? I would have to hand that over to Erin, as she's the programming director. Erin, can you tell, I believe this question is coming from Daniel again. How many locally produced programs we have? Not to put you on the spot.
No, we currently have 90 different shows on our
90.
schedule. A
Wow.
little over 40 are produced here in CHSR.
Wow. You might think that's funny that I sound so surprised, but we've actually had a large influx of volunteers in the last couple of months, and so there's been a lot of new programming created, and there's still more coming. Actually, we're training volunteers, it seems like almost weekly. So if that gets you excited and enthusiastic to join, Matthew Phillips says, please bear in mind we have English language learners who are receiving interpretations. Oh yes, sorry about that. Sometimes when I talk about radio, I get very excited. So I do apologize if I spoke too quickly there. If anyone needs clarification on anything I've said, please ask. Nadine, I have my own podcast channel in Arabic and would love to expand these skills and start as a volunteer. Nadine, we would love to have you. There's also a possibility that we could broadcast your podcast if you're already producing that. We do actually, slowing down again, we do actually carry some podcasts which are created from people's homes, and that was a product of the pandemic. So yes, so Nadine, if you're already making a podcast, we may possibly be able to broadcast that, although we would also love it if you just joined the station, and you could even do your podcast as a live show. Kenza, I hope that answers your question. Kenza Pelche, what kind of multicultural, oh gosh, sorry, the screen is, the answer screen is jumping around. What kind of multicultural program would be innovative for the radio? I think any multicultural program would be an innovation to our station. We're looking to increase the diversity on our airwaves and having different voices. I'll use this as an example. Again, going back to when I reached out to Multicultural Association in St. John, we ended up having a multicultural program, which was 2 people from the Ukraine and 1 person from Brazil. And what they did was a really cool idea. their radio program was comparing their culture to Canadian culture and the differences and the similarities. So the ones that I really enjoyed were the holiday episodes where they would talk about different holidays or different traditions in their country compared to Canada. And then obviously some of those traditions we don't have in Canada. So it was cool for us to learn about those traditions and those ceremonies and things like that. So that's just to give you an example of a type of show that you could do. That could also be a group effort. So yeah, in answer to your question, Kenza, and honestly, at this point, any multicultural program would be new and fresh for our station. So please come and join us. We would love to have you. Nadine, you're thrilled. That's amazing. Thank you for your message. This is a message to me from oh yes, yeah, and for sure, like this is not we're not saying come join us today. This could be a situation where you want to think about an idea, or maybe you want to talk to a friend about doing a show together. The other thing is we have a huge music library, and we have so much music. We have the biggest music library east of Montreal. So wow. It's very, very big. Lots of vinyl records and compact discs and cassette tapes and all kinds of things. So if that kind of thing interests you, we're probably going to need some help in our library because we are actually moving some of that. So if that's something that appeals to you, yeah. So everybody that's here listening, please take your time to think about it. It's definitely not something that we want you to jump into if you're unsure, but we would definitely love to have some multicultural programming. And even, again, if you're nervous about it or you have an idea and you're not sure if you think it would be good, me and Aaron and I are there to help you. So even if you want to come by and visit and have a talk and see our studios and our library, that might be a nice way to break the ice if you're feeling anxious. So that kind of thing. And my hope is that we can do these sessions maybe more down the road, and newcomers can hear this session. And I think this session is also going to be shared on YouTube. So if you want to go back and re-listen maybe you can slow my voice down if you need to. But we're very open to talking and discussing ideas, and Aaron and I are consider ourselves pretty creative and pretty flexible. So please come by and talk to us, or send us an application, or send us an email if you have a question after this presentation. We'd be more than happy to help.
Great. Wow.
Thank you, Kenza. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you to everybody who sent a message. That was wonderful.
Great. I think we will give ourselves a minute to see if there's going to be any question popped out, and then we will bring the session to a close. So
thank you. Now Shaba, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for attending. Thank you to everybody who came this morning. I really appreciate the everybody joining in, and the questions. It's wonderful. And yes, and so this is just hopefully this is just the beginning for connections between CHSR MCAF. And I don't think Katya is in the call this morning, but if somebody wanted to pass along a message to Katya that I said thank you for, because she was the person that basically got me to this point. So she did an amazing job. Aaron, are you good? Did you have any other stuff to add? I think I already asked you.
Wow. That has been a very informative session. I have enjoyed it, and I am thinking of stopping by to come and see how things work over there. And
Yes.
hopefully I'll join the crew.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be totally amazing. Yes. Yes, Aaron and I always get very excited when new people come through the front door, and so yeah, no, swing by. I mean, like I said, sometimes even just visiting the space can kind of take away a bit of that anxiousness if you're feeling anxious or whatever. And you'll find that Aaron and myself and the station manager, Mark, who is not here today, we're all very easygoing and very open to, we love talking about radio and we love our community. So come by and say hello.
Awesome. On that note, we will bring this session to a close, and I'll say thank you so much, Stephanie, for your time and the insight that you've given to us. Thank you, Erin, for being supportive. And audience, I say, without you, this session will not be, we wouldn't have this session. Thank you so much for your time to audience and also our interpreters. I would say a big thank you to you for always to us and being here with us and helping others to, get this program, understanding whatever this program comes with. And with our technical team, I say, bravo, you've made our work very easy for us. And on that note, I'll say, have a wonderful day and stay safe. Until next week, until another time, Erin and we will make sure that we will have you on some other time for another insight. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you and have a lovely day. Stay safe. Bye-bye now.
Bye.